All right, weekend warriors. It is that time. It is the playoffs. It is week 15, and we have a special guest with us, Mike Pearson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So we had him on 2 weeks ago, but it was a little bit different. Obviously, with Jersey Jerry, we had some fun with that, and I promised Pearson that I really like 10 weeks ago. I said you're going to be on first week of the playoffs because you were in it. I knew you were going to be here, and follow through. So have him back on the show, and first and foremost, I got to ask him about his rival Kev. Kev was on here probably about 8 weeks ago, and he was trashing Pearson. Since he's beat him and he's tied Pearson. Pearson's 0-1-1 against him. They're changing their names. It's like a big deal here, man. What's going on? Tell me about it.
I mean, he's the one who always, he's the one who says, Pearson gets fired up, blah, blah, this and that. He's the one who always steps in the shit and starts it. So, listen, he's a good competitor. He's always got a good team. He's always up there. I give him his respect where respect's due. But obviously his team's fallen very short this year. He's gotten very lucky. Everyone knows that. But that's the name of the game. You can only play, you're facing that week. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. He's in the playoffs. He's actually got a relatively good lineup now with, a little bit of health. Obviously Christian McCaffrey doesn't have, but Ayuk now being the number one guy. His receivers are looking up. That being said, last week, definitely wanted to play him. I didn't want to play Dean, but obviously that safety cost me. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
And
anything can happen.
I won't focus on Kevin much more, but he's one of the 4 teams that have made it. And I paid out the high scores of the week today, and he received $82.50. So or $87.50. So
two of those were against me, pal. Two of those high scores. So what are you gonna do?
So he's had his ups and downs. I've also seen him score 50 some weeks. So, but while we're on that topic, you said Kev has some good matchups. Do you think he'll beat Otley?
I still can't see that just because Otley has those two players that are just going to get 20 plus every week in Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, and they're just bona fide studs. His team's pretty deep. He's got James Robinson. I think he's just locked and loaded with talent there. And I think Kev is still falling short in that flex spot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a bad trade. He'll tell you, this is, typical Kevin will defend that it was a good trade. When in reality, you got two very startable players out of it. And he got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's been a complete bust that he has at flex right now. So I think too much firepower. I think he's going to lose.
Well, I haven't done my matchups yet. I'm going to do my predictions soon, but Pearson's got Otley over Kevin. So that brings me to your matchup this week. First, I will say I'm going to give you a little, pat on the back when I do my story, but you're 11-2-1, model of consistency all year. Great draft, great team, some injuries. You managed through it. You've kind of been a little weak at the flex position, I would say, most of the season, but you've made it work. You got rid of Rojo. Now he's hurt.
Hold that thought.
What's that?
Hold that thought.
Okay. But things have worked out for you. I mean, Devontae Adams is an absolute stud. And you said you didn't want to play Dean. He's 7 wins in a row. Tell me about your matchup this week.
Yeah, I mean, coming into it, Dean's a very deep team. Last week he had a lot of weird injuries and a lot of knick-knacky players in his lineup right now. So that being said, it's still, we got 4 more days, whatever it is, till game time. So a lot changes between now and then. I think he's got a lot of firepower. I definitely would have rather played Kevin, but it is what it is. I'm scared of Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to get you 30 this week. And then this game tonight definitely, has 2 of his better players going. So that'll tell a lot. I think as long as, up to this point, I've managed to stay healthy, which is key. And then as long as that can maintain up until Sunday, I think I got really good shot. My team's been consistent. He's got to score at least 130, I would think, if my team holds true to what they've been doing all year long. It all depends. It all depends on his, he's got a lot of depth at receiver where he's got a lot of question marks right now. So
Yeah.
a lot of questionable guys, but if they play, they can play well. So who knows?
Yeah.
I like my chances though.
As of this recording, Keenan Allen's still very questionable. Josh Jacobs looks like he will play. So Keenan Allen, I know, is historic for going out and playing a snap and being injured, or also he could have 17 catches. So he's a big wild card.
Big one tonight, yep. And that's a big game, in terms of if he does play. Oakland's defense is depleted from what we're seeing. They got a lot of injuries right now on defense, so
Yeah.
could be a big game for him.
Yeah. Well, if Jersey Jerry was on the show, he would say take the over. He hates both defenses. He said that on the Brilliantly Dumb show. That's his pick. But he's given some questionable picks lately with over-unders. So we might
Yeah, now stay away from Jersey Jerry's picks. He's off. He's not hot anymore. He's not scorching hot. He's awful.
All right, well, I want to ask you, first and foremost, stick to fantasy, and this is a question we asked Jerry, and he said Anthony McFarland. I think he'd hit the vape many two times. But so sleeper doesn't have to be on your team, very much can be on your team, but a guy that you would target in DraftKings fantasy lineups, a guy that can score a lot of points that it might not be an obvious pick. Let's hear it.
So back to the hold that thought. It is going to be, and it wouldn't be fun if I didn't make it about my team, but I don't do DraftKings, so I know how it works, but I don't do DraftKings. But if you were, I would say the team to target, the players to target would be Tampa Bay this week. I think, going into their matchup, they're going against a poor defense in Atlanta, and a fun little next-gen stat for you. Atlanta allows the most pass completions in the league. So they're going to throw it this week. And Tom Brady coming off a down week. It was a weird game last week. They've only played for, I think the offense was on the field for about 20 minutes or so. So I think they're going to get back to the pass game. And I think Antonio Brown, I think this is finally the week. It's either you believe in him or you don't. And I still believe in the guy. I think this is finally the week where that guy touches pay dirt. I think he gets 50 to 60 and a touch. That's just my bold prediction this week. Not that he's going to, win you your DraftKings league, but I think he's a very startable player for the price that you may be able to get him at.
Yeah, he's kind of been that guy that you can plug in your lineup. I'm looking at his scores. His first week he had 5, then he was in the 9s, and last week he's been at 6.5. If he scored in any of those games, he'd have a good week. But maybe he'll get some underneath catches this week and be a PPR asset.
And if you like, if you're on my train here and you're listening to me, get Mike Evans, get Chris Godwin, get any pass catchers for Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay big.
All right, especially because they might not be able to run the ball with their running back situation.
Yes,
so.
And Fournette's more of a pass catching back, even though he's proven last year he can run the ball, but they're typically use him. He's going to be the lead back this week, but I think they're going to be passing a lot. I think they're going to go away from the run a little bit.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to give you a shot to redeem yourself here. You were on the show. You gave a bet, which I didn't know you were going to do, but you came out and surprised me. And it wasn't a bad bet. I was giving you a hard time. It was lost, but it lost on, the last play of the game. So, bad beat. You're 0-1 on the show officially with your bets. So, would you like to try to redeem yourself and get back to even here?
Yes, I would. And I'm going to go back to the over. And we're going to pick your team versus the Bears. The over is currently sitting at 47. Every time these two teams play, they always put up points. Every single time I watch them. So Trubisky's playing well.
Yeah.
Chicago's defense is pretty much given up. They know they're out of it. Well, they're still in it, but they're not going anywhere. No. I feel like this game is going to have a lot of points. The Vikings coming off a down week. Dalvin Cook hasn't been doing much. I think he's due to blow up. I love the fact that it's under 50, and I love the fact that they're two offensive teams that can put up points.
That's
in that one.
It's a good call because they're historic teams that historically are defensive teams, but they're really not. The Vikings defense may be the worst in the league, and Chicago can't stop anybody either. So it's a good pick. I like it.
That's my pick.
All right. Well, and I'm going to end it. If you get this wrong, don't feel bad. It's a tough question. I was joking around with Pearson. I said, let me ask some trivia because he says I never asked anything hard hitting. And I said, I'm going to ask him the capital of Argentina. That's stupid. What I'm going to ask him is a football question. Which wide receiver so far through 13 games played, each team had a bye week, leads the league in receptions?
Stephon Diggs.
That is correct. That is correct. And since you got that right, by the way, he has 100
receptions. Yep.
And second is Keenan Allen. Since you got that right, I'm going to give you a bonus question. Which player leads the league in receiving yards?
Ooh.
It's a tough one. Very tough.
Oh, Travis Kelce.
He's 2 for 2, guys. 2 for 2.
Yep.
All right, you do your homework. I got to give you credit. I would not have guessed Travis Kelce.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he's getting 80 a pop every game. So
yeah. So it's funny though. I'll just give a quick stat while I'm looking at this. Kelce 90 catches, 1,250 yards. Metcalf 69 catches, and he's second. He has 21 less catches and only 70 less yards. So that's one of the guys you're playing against this week.
That's good to know. That's lovely.
And yeah, he's a beast. So all right. Well, listen. Appreciate the time. Wanted to have you on the show. You're the lead horse. You're in first place. And, good luck to you in the playoffs. We'll see what you can do.
Yeah, it's been fun. Great job as a commissioner all year long, holding it down. Still definitely the most fun league out of all of them. So
yeah,
great job. Keep it up.
Appreciate that. One of these years, I will win 2 years in a row that I have not made the playoffs. But by de facto, I need to root for my dad to try to bring home a Harding victory. So unlikely being the 4 seed playing you, but we'll see. Crazier things have happened. So
you never know, man. That's the beauty of it.
All right. Nice painting. I will let you go.
Hey, you like that?
All right, guys. You'll get this video and my video later on. Happy fantasy.
See you guys.